Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Another very important question that came from one of the sisters who work in medical field, and the question was related to death. That sometimes doctors give medications to the patients, and these medications apparently bring peace to the body. So does that mean that the process of soul being taken away from the body, is that process also affected? Is there an ease in that process as well? And also, she asked that sometimes we notice that it takes longer for the soul to leave body. So, is there any set duration in which soul leaves body? So, we'll be answering these couple questions. First of all, the amount of time soul needs to leave the body or soul takes to leave the body is not determined. For some people, it just happens in a blink. For some people, it may take longer time. And it doesn't really define anybody's piety or anybody being sinful or sinner. It just doesn't define that. Sometimes, even a person is a believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings things a little bit difficult for him or her at the time of their death. And this basically helps the individual remove or reduce their sins, or sometimes to elevate their darajats in the life hereafter. So that really is no test to see who is how pious. Now let's come to the first question, that doctors give medication, and due to that, body feels a little bit restful. So does that ease the process of soul leaving the body? You need to first of all understand what is a human being. That is called insan. Insan is a very complex entity. Insan comprises of soul, insan comprises of body, insan comprises of nafs, insan comprises of dhamir, consciousness, subconsciousness. All of these entities are built into the human being. So when you are treating as a doctor, when you're treating a human being, you are more or less treating their body. Whatever you're doing to their body. However, when a person dies, it is the soul that is taken away from the body. So your practice is only at the body level. But when the angels come, they grab the soul. So whatever happens to the soul, that is not viewable, seeable by us from our naked eyes. Because we cannot see what the soul is going through, we can only see what the body is going through. So when angels come to grab the soul of a believer, now death is painful, remember. But it could be less or more depending on the soul. So if the soul of a disbeliever does not want to leave the body, so the soul tries to hide in the body, and angels grab the soul out, exactly like you take out the cotton that is stuck to an iron rod, you have to pluck it, pull it out, right? Exactly the same way. The soul is taken out of a disbeliever with lots and lots of pain to the soul. We don't witness it at the body level. Sometimes we are seeing an individual and said, oh, the person is dead. To us, the body is dead. We have seen the body going to the dead state. We have not seen the underlying process of soul leaving the body. That is hidden from our eyes. Similarly, when you go to somebody who works on your nafs, does tazkiyah for you. So a nafs al-kamila or a shaykh al-kamila, who is basically working on your nafs to take it to the state of kamila, is also working on your nafs. Is not working on your ruh. Rather, it is working on your nafs to take it from amara to mulhama to all the way to mutma'inna, and then from mutma'inna to radiya, mardiya, and kamila, and then train you to sustain yourself on the state of kamila. Again, working at the level of nafs, training the nafs to gain spirituality, the disconnect of the human from the spiritual world, which is the world of souls, because souls are spiritually elevated. But now in the world, they are under the control of the body, and the body could swing towards soul or could swing towards nafs. So they're training the nafs, yet not training the soul. When the death happens, it happens that the soul is taken away from the body. So none of the human doctors here on the planet Earth are working with soul. They're working with either the body or the nafs. So that is why what soul goes through is hidden from our naked eyes. So it is the soul that in a blink travels all the way through. Now notice, soul is taken out of the body and is wrapped in a cloth that came either from the Jannah or from the Jahannam. So depending on what kind of soul it is. And then it is passed from an angel to angel to angel. Now if it is a good soul, the soul is wrapped up in a cloth, is being taken from one angel to another angel till it reaches all the way to the first heaven. Then it enters the heaven, it passes all the way through the 7 heavens, bowed down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then it goes and meets the other souls who have been taken away and have and are the souls of good believers and have gone past the first heaven. It meets and greets and have communication with them, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the soul to be returned back so that the question and answer could happen. Now the soul is back, and over here on earth, humans have not yet given it a ghusl. And all of this happened, like all of this travel of going through the 7 heavens and be back. And body and humans at this, like in this earth are so slow in terms of the speed of the soul. The soul is now witnessing who is giving the ghusl to his body, to her body, whatever. And then they see that how they are being wrapped in the cloth to be buried. And then they also see the people when they are carrying the body. And the soul, if it's a good soul, is telling the people, bury me as soon as possible so I can move on to the next world and enjoy it. And if it's a bad soul, it has already seen some of the flavors of what will happen to it. It starts yelling, please don't bury me. Please don't. So it is witnessing all of these things. And as this body is laid into the grounds, now this is the body that is getting laid into the ground, not the soul. The soul is witnessing all of this. And now when you walk away, soul is hearing you walking away. And now the Q&A session starts for the soul. In the world of barzakh, this waking up of the soul and seeing the time as if the sun is setting. If it's a good soul, it will be under the impression that, oh, I think it is time for me to pray, because it used to pray. When all of these things settle down and it looks like sun setting, it's like to the angels, hold on a second. I need to pray Salatul Asr before the Salatul Maghrib happens. I've been delayed. I do not want to qada my prayers. And the angel tell the soul, hold on a second. You do not need to pray anymore. It's time for you to do a Q&A session with us. It's a totally different thing we're talking about. So going back to the first question, so doctor is working at the body level. Easing the body has no impact on easing the soul's taken away process. As long as soul is in the body, relaxing the body would put the soul at ease too, because soul is getting commanded by the body, or it's being in the container of the body. So whatever pain you feel, soul reacts to it. That's why when we are in pain, body feels the pain, soul reacts to it. This me speaking, you hearing, that is going through your body to your soul. But when it is time for the soul to leave the body, then there is a transfer of power from body to soul. Now soul it's witnessing, because now soul is not dependent on the eyes of the body. Soul is seeing the malaika, the angels. Body can't in its limited capacity. So that's why it's important for us to distinguish between what medical science works on, what is tazkiyatun nafs, the shuyukh of tazkiyah, what do they work on, and the general purpose shuyukh who work on the sharia laws, they implement on your body, and some of them are soul related, but the improvement, by soul I mean nafs related, how to improve your nafs, but the training of that is done by a different category of shuyukh, because everybody has their specializations. Just like we have specialization in the hadith, in tafsir, we have specialization in the tazkiyatun nafs. Those are the doctors who know what the problems nafs can encounter and how to solve those problems. If you take those problems to the people who are shuyukh in hadith or tafsir or fiqh, they probably may not be able to give you an answer, because that's not what their field is. It's pretty much like going to a brain surgeon and asking about the complicated heart surgery procedures. They wouldn't have answers for you. They probably may be able to help you out a little bit, but they wouldn't have the underlying details. Exactly the same way. I hope, going in the details of all of this, the idea is to help you understand the capabilities of humans and what the field of medicine does. It doesn't matter. It could be homeopathic, it could be other branches of medicine, but exactly that's where they are working on. I hope this answers your question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.